And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dash Attack, and today I'm here with 32 flavors of Nickweiser to talk about stuff for an hour. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, Dash Attack. Nice to meet you, and I hope
Oh,
that
yeah,
you
nice.
are well. Yeah, no, it's nice to actually be doing this, and thank you for being negotiable with the setting up the time because
Oh, you're
my world
welcome.
is all sorts of crazy. So I appreciate you being
Yeah,
so
I
accommodating.
yeah, like I've only been able to have Mike and Culture on before. I'm finding it's not easy to get guests, but thank you so much for setting time for me. I
Oh,
really
of
appreciate it,
course,
man.
absolutely. Hey, the pleasure's all mine. Let's rock and roll, my friend. All right.
Yeah, so we got some topics for today. So like mostly just Musk, Thor, and possibly manga versus comics.
Okay. Hey, I'm ready, man. Let's you decide what order, and we'll talk.
Okay, I'll so let's get started. I'm just gotta set something up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this whole
Oh,
thing with
Elon.
I love this meme so much. I
I do too.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
even
it's a great meme.
I made this little thing on some Ace Attorney Maker website, and it's already gotten like it's my highest like one of my highest grossing videos this year since I really started like seriously YouTubing, and I barely put any effort into it.
Is that funny how that works, Dash? No, seriously, like you'll put in like a video where it's like the most minimal amount of whatever you do as far as I guess you could say work, and you'll be like the video that takes off. Like I have a video that has almost I'd say around 2.6K views, and it's of my Top Gun Maverick review straight out of the theater in my car. So it's your traditional 3 minute whole car video, and somehow that video, which took literally just for me to push record, in my car, and then unrecord, and that video took off. It's really crazy how that happens. And there'll be videos where you pull a lot of work in, and sometimes they don't take off. Sometimes there are people who do, and that's awesome when it does because they deserve it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just YouTube is really really fickle with how their stuff works, and we don't know how it works. Hopefully, one day we do.
So one day we will figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you want me to play it?
Yeah. No, play it.
All right. Let me know if you can hear the sound.
I can't hear sound, but I can see all the dialogue. I didn't know if
Oh
there's
yeah.
supposed to
Oh,
be sound.
I can set up the sound.
I
Um,
was gonna say,
no, I have to set it to
share
full.
when you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
share screen, you click on the share system audio.
yeah, exactly. I'm still getting
It's
the hang
okay.
of all this.
It's okay, dude. Trust me when I say this. I did the same crap when I was new on the scene with all this. Like I'll tell
Yeah.
you, here's a little something while you're getting that stuff. I think it was on my second live stream ever. I rolled a countdown video. I started chatting, and then I realized I forgot to click the live button. And I think I was about maybe 3 or 4 minutes into, or what I think was around 3 or 4 minutes, and I
Oh man,
realized,
that
oh crap.
sucks.
Luckily, no one knew, but I told the crowd what happened. The few people at the time who were listening, so I wasn't gonna hide it from them, but I told them, and I look back on it now and I laugh, and of course I'm very well sure about Nerd Rock to this very day, still having boomer moments like it is no tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched Gary in a while, but anyway, um, I'm gonna play the video.
Let's roll.
Take that! Yeah, so I found that on a aceattorneymaker.com. I did that. There were two other frames that were supposed to play. One shot of the judge, one of the prosecutor. They didn't show up at the end for some reason.
It's okay.
Yeah, it paid off. And what you're saying about Neurotic, yeah, like considering how big he's gone and like how much like how much like if he's still making mistakes like after all this time, can't be.
Yeah, dude, all the time, and that's for the people who are like members on his channel. They have the boomer emoji. Anytime he messes up, everyone just starts going off in the chat with boomer. Oh yeah, it's funny to see all the boomer emojis come out in droves when he messes up. He messes up on sharing screen, sharing volume. Sometimes he's forgotten to end a stream. Like, I'm not joking. Like, these things have all happened.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's easy to like manage a computer and know like everything offhand. I did like, I went to school for some, I wanted to be a an animator for games and stuff that didn't really pan out that well. So I'm working now, and I'm honestly like I got into this like around The Last Jedi. That was like kind of like the watershed moment for everyone. And I started out with Geeks and Gamers. I moved on to Midnight's Edge, and I mostly hang out there. Like I'm there like all the time. I've become quite friendly with a lot of people.
Nice. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to get, my own thing started, seeing how it goes. And honestly, like, everyone says like, not putting pressure on myself. And that is something I do need to work on. I do put pressures on myself. I did that back when I did something else online, and I'd always try to compete with other users. But I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna like see, and you know what, I'm really enjoying what I've put out. I'm happy with what I've done.
Oh, that clip is great, dude.
Oh, I think
that clip is freaking awesome. I like what I saw there.
Yeah, have you ever played any of the Ace Attorney games?
Unfortunately, I'm not well versed in gaming like I used to be, like I'd like to be. And here's the thing. So I'm sure you know the age-old story that it is nearly impossible of getting a PS5. Now, I got a PS5 about 6 months ago, and I bought 2 games for it. One of them I opened up. They are still in the shrink wrap. That should tell you one thing. They are still in the shrink wrap. The first game, I got halfway in story mode, and I've not had a chance to play for the last 3 or 4 months now. It is very hard for me to get time to game, and I want to. I was big into it during the PS2 days, N64 days, and I kind of just hopped off the wagon. And then I want to get back on. But then when I get back on, I barely had time to play it. So I'd like to play, all these games someday. So hopefully sometime between now and forever, I do.
Yeah, I'm just, I've been very big gaming. My first console was the N64. And so now, like, I've gone forwards, I've gone backwards. I've played like so many like different games from different like generations. I love gaming.
Dude, I can understand why, man. I mean, my younger brother, he's a big gamer. And he's got like he's been a big PlayStation guy for a long time. He's already got like most games already for PS5. He had a lot of the big games for PS4, PS3. I was there for when he got the PS3 at the launch, in 2006. Yeah, I'd like to do it again someday, and I'm glad there's still a lot of passion out there for it. Hopefully now we can. Get an Eric July style world where there's video games without all the craziness involved. So a man can dream.
They're out there. You just got to look.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about completely separate. Like I know there's games that are like not like that, but I'm talking about as far as like a company and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
well, I mean, like every company has a little bit of that. It all depends. And
yes.
actually, this is a good segue to our other topic,
Mm-hmm,
Disney,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because like you said, like we're saying, like every company has like a woke like end to it. Like that's just like it's just the way things are right now. Is that the way things are going to be forever? Who knows? But like other end, everyone's got to play the game. But Disney is married to wokeness, like more than
Any
any other.
company who's invested in it is married to it. It's kind of a kiss the ring.
Yeah, but no, I just feel like Disney especially is
Mm-hmm.
like because I feel like they go the extra mile, like to go out of their way. Like a company does like they changed a thing for Pride Month for one thing, yeah. But then like if you like go out of your way, like with everything to try and chase like these niche progressive demographics and stuff, then like you're all in.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ideology that is basically religiously based,
Oh, absolutely. I
and
totally believe
there's
that.
no. I don't really. I'd like to think it was moderate, but I don't think there. I mean, I've yet to see anything moderate. It seems to be. It only gets more and more and more and more. So
But honestly, I do feel like more people are getting sick of it. I try to avoid like, I don't want my channel to be very political, but I really don't do a good job of keeping my feelings a secret. But that's kind of like what I want to do. I just kind of want to just be myself.
no, you gotta be you, and it's unfortunate. Like in a idealized world, you and I should not have to have our casual conversation be based around a political landscape, which has basically become the pop culture landscape in many
Yeah, unfortunately,
degrees.
and that's not our fault. That's like, the
They
people
put,
who make entertainment's fault and the people who manage these companies who
yeah,
kowtow
all of
to
them,
the
all of them.
politicians.
All of them. I mean, it goes from education, it goes to advertisements, it goes to the sports media, it goes to the Hollywood media, and to the politicians, and all the big tech internet stuff. They all got involved. Not one of these like outlets where like, oh hey, we're not going to do this. They all got involved, and they created this landscape. And yeah, I think a lot of people just need to understand that a lot of these companies are not going to change, and to be a lot more mindful of what they're giving, not just money but also time to, because every like these people are not going to change. We've given them more than a time of day in hopes that something can turn around, and they are not going to listen to us. They don't want to listen to us. They want us removed from the picture. They want us to be replaced by normies and people like them. And they're hoping that not only can they replace us, but the people that they hope to replace us with, that they'll stick. But the issues with those type of crowd that they want to replace us with, those type of crowds don't have the same type of loyalty. They're kind of more fair weather per se. They're into something because it's hot at the moment, and then they're gonna move on to something else in a few weeks, few months. You don't have like a Harry Potter fan who, like, a lot of Harry Potter fans, they're in it because they love those books and they saw
Yeah.
every movie. You could say the same thing about DC Comic when you had the Jeff Johns Green Lantern series. People wanted every issue of that series, and they don't have those same type of conversations. They don't have the theories. They don't do the debates on who's better, Hulk versus Thor. They're just there to consume the media and then wait for the next scene. Whereas us, we like to live in the world, we like to breathe in it, and enjoy those
Yeah.
conversations, and it's fun. And geeks and gamers, and not literally the company, but just I'm literally speaking, not geeks and actual gamers and
Yeah.
nerds. We love having those conversations. That
Hmm.
like kind of became like our lifestyle, and now that's taken away
Absolutely.
from us from these twisted individuals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've limited my social media
That's
a
good.
lot. I actually one of the things I hated the most about, like, trying to get my channel started was having to come back to Twitter after like quitting it for uh, to be honest, my own mental sanity.
I hear that a lot, and that that's very interesting because I do believe you, and I believe others who have said that. But where I come from, when I had Facebook, I thought Facebook was much worse. Now, granted, my experience could be different to other people's, but from what I've seen on my end on both big tech platforms, which I got rid of my Facebook over a year and a half ago, I thought Facebook made Twitter look sane. And that's saying a lot because Twitter can be a
Oh my
very,
God.
I'm not joking when I say that too. Like, I really felt that way. Now, like I
I
said,
mean,
my
you had
experience could be different, but
people.
I truly believe that Facebook was really that much worse than Twitter.
I mean, you had people celebrating the assassination of the prime minister and then getting surprised when people are calling them out and saying, "Hey, that's not cool."
Oh yeah, no, and it's not. It's absolutely crazy, and between everything, what's interesting with Twitter is all the bots, like because of your
Yeah,
previous video, like it gives off this like perception that people are like that, but then you go out and step onto the world, you look at the flowers on the ground, you're seeing the sun out, and
exactly, and
it
that's what I
feels
found.
and you're like,
That's what I found. Like the
why are
world
they
isn't.
telling me all this stuff? Like, yeah, there's problems in the real world. There is. I'm not going to pretend there's not. But they're building out to be this like world of death and destruction. Everyone, it's really not,
Oh yeah,
and it shows you how good they are at manipulating our mindsets.
yeah, the whole moral panic thing. Like, that's why I love that current thing meme, because that's exactly what things have become. Whatever like the current thing on social media is, like that's what every celebrity and company has to do.
Yep.
I mean, and even if it's like, this Ukraine invasion thing. Yeah, like it sucks. Like they got it, but like I don't think half these people even care about that country or would care if it wasn't trendy.
Mhm.
And that's unfortunate because they don't care about anything unless they're told to care. I mean, whereas I can genuinely feel bad for what's happening to that country. Like,
Mhm.
but I digress. Let's go to shit on Disney a little bit. So yeah, so have you seen Thor?
I have not,
Me
and
either.
maybe I'll see it sometime between now and my death.
Well,
I know everything that happens. I do because I had everything spoiled to me by way of attention, and I know exactly everything that happens. I'm just so not interested
well, I
anymore.
just Marvel's just kind of boring and played out at this point. I did cave and see Doctor Strange because I do like Wanda and I do like Doctor Strange.
Hmm.
And mostly I just thought the middle of the movie was boring and that
Hmm.
the end of the movie got a little bit better with the zombie thing. And the beginning of the movie was all right, but it was not that whole middle movie and that whole Illuminati thing, complete waste of time, my opinion.
Yeah, I was very mad at that scene. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of the Inhumans. I was a big Black Bolt fan. I see a character like him and Mr. Fantastic both done dirty. I was pretty angry at that scene. I was pretty angry at that scene, but oh man, I watched that once and I will not watch that again. And I think as sad as it is, I do feel like it's a blessing in disguise. I feel like I needed to see that movie to get me to realize these people are not going to change. They're never going to change. Stop asking. It's kind of like we know when you have like an abusive boyfriend or girlfriend and you
Yeah.
hope that they'll change and you keep giving them a chance and then they come back and do worse than the time before. It
Well,
becomes like a hold my beer. And this is like us and our relationship to fandom. It's I just like, you know what, it's time to hop off this relationship. And I've been like investing as much of my time. Like when I do my comic shop on Friday nights, we talk mainly old comics. Like every now and then there's the exceptional new comic we talk about. but we talk about old stuff. Or I know I'm gonna be having the Mirror Sphere Origins. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a YouTuber. He's got a book coming out. We'll be promoting him. Then there's the Jinja Ninja. He's got a comic coming out. We're gonna be promoting that, and then like we're gonna be promoting all these other people. Now, of course, like Razor Fist has a pulp noir again coming out called Death
Oh, he's got another
Mask.
book coming out.
Yeah, called Death Mask. That's a sequel to The Long Moonlight. So I pre-ordered Death Mask. So it's I'm not only trying to just look for alternatives, but I'm trying to look for alternatives that are going to stick.
Well,
Because
like I've never really been. I've always been more of an anime person and manga person because I just found manga more accessible than like catching up on 60 years of comic book history. But what I but I have been backing a lot of these Comicsgate comics for some time. You know, I like a lot of them, but it just sucks that like, you know, they don't come out as quickly as like.
Yes, it does. I am in agreement with you, and this is where I think Eric July, like, he got it right because he got the book done, made, printed, and is going to ship next month. And he did it.
Wow.
I think Ripa did it right. He got the book written. He got it drawn, colored, lettered, edited, and sent to printer. It's made, it's done, and then obviously the whole launch happened this week, and
it was a massive success.
It's at 1,400,000 currently standing.
Yeah, I heard it passed 1 million.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's gonna go higher. The only way it doesn't go much higher is if he like runs out of things. Now, if he runs out of things, that could be a problem because then he literally can't go higher. But he does have potential to hit 2 million. And what's great is this book, a lot of people some people are still figuring out. They think, oh, this is gonna be a book that's gonna come out because they've gotten so used to the Indiegogo Kickstarter thing where they've had to wait. No, guys, you don't gotta wait. You're gonna have it shipped to you next month, like early to middle of next month, and that is great. Like that's a huge deal, and the fact that he wanted, do this the way he did, he dropped $200,000 out of his own wallet between getting the business made, getting the warehouse, getting the license, paying the artist, paying the editor, the colorist, and then of course, getting the posters made, the cards made, the shirts made, and then the excess amount of prints made, like A, B, and C prints.
He's a musician, right?
He's in a metalcore band called Backwards. He's the singer of the band, and they have one album out and a few additional smaller side releases. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's also done some rap stuff as well.
Yeah, so he was able. I'm sure it took some investment.
Oh, he did. He had to get lawyers involved. He had, and with all this, obviously, with his big YouTube, YouTube is literally his main job. So that was he said he didn't think 2 years ago he was gonna start writing this, but he always had the intention of writing a book. That was always his thing was, I'm going to get a comic made someday. But between the money he started making between then and then, of course, what's going on in comics now, that kind of sped up the process a bit. And that's why he's at the position that he's at now, because A, he got the money to do it, and B, the books only got worse, where he was more optimistic and holding out hope that things would change and this is just a phase or something. And then he just said, you know what? This isn't going to happen. It's time to move on. And he did. And he's not watched any of the movies. He's not read any of the comics. He's just, I know he's had some manga sent to him by way of books and Blu-rays. I don't know which ones he's liked or not liked, but I know a lot of people send him stuff. So, but right now he seems like he's all in on the comic books right now. And I think that's great because I think he's going to show all the other, CG Indiegogo Kickstarter guys how it's done is, hey, get your book done, then do a campaign. Do that, because with the what hurts the Indiegogo books is not just the delays, which I understand sometimes there are things that are out of your control that do come up. It does happen. I think the greater issue than that, let's just pretend for conversation's sake, all the books come out on time. Let's just pretend that, like a hypothetical scenario, all the books come out on time. There's still a problem there. And you know what the problem is? It's called frequency, because you're waiting anywhere between a year to a year and a half of the next follow up to a book, whereas Marvel and DC still got many people by the balls coming out with a lot of their comics on a monthly basis. So yeah, someone might pick up like a book from Shane Davis, like Starlight Cats, and be like, oh, this is good. But the thing is, they're done. They enjoyed it. It's done. But then they're like, okay, now when's the next one? And they find out it's a long time away. And then what happens? They fall right back into old habits, with the big two and the images of the world, because, well, that stuff has people's eyes, and we're in a world that's fighting for people's attention spans,
Yeah.
whether
Or
we
how
like
about
that
this?
or not. Whether we like that or not, frequency is the thing that's hurting Indiegogo and all that stuff. And I think
Yeah.
Eric has acknowledged that problem. And he said this is what he wants to fix. Even if they could put out something on a quarterly release schedule, I think that would make a huge difference.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure like it'll push like both the Comicsgate Indiegogo creators. Oh, thank you. Thank you, tell them. Anyway, I think it will probably push those, and it'll also put pressure on like, these slackers and like in the mainstream comic book industry. But I know like, a lot of them feel like their jobs are very much secure, and they can just put out anything. They can make Nightcrawler like have sex with like a tree or something, and nothing will happen.
Yeah. It do be like that, man. No, that's a thing. And you gotta understand, it's even as bad as these writers are, it's not just the writers who are at fault, it's everyone who's above them. Because when these books are made, they had to go through oversight, for better and or for worse. People,
Yeah, the editors.
editors, exactly. They gotta
I,
look
I
at
think it was the editors that screwed over Ethan.
and well, even that happens to all these companies. These editors, they don't say, okay, hey, is this in line with continuity? Are these characters being written in character? Oh, does this line up with what's going on in this other book? They aren't doing those things
No, they're
anymore.
saying how does this appeal to this progressive demographic? How
Yes,
does it appeal?
they're pleasing each other. They're pleasing each other, and this is something where Ripa has a huge advantage, because
Yeah,
he
I know. I've
knows.
heard him talk. He's very blunt. He does not give a crap, and I'm sure like his book is going to be way more focused and kick ass.
Well, not just kick ass, and that's, I think, what is going to help. Let's just pretend like even somehow it doesn't. Let's just pretend somehow it doesn't. What I like is what he's aiming for. It's just he wants his stories to matter. Like you can read the story and it's like you feel like, okay, this is not something that can just be undone in a year. This is not something that they're just going to do time travel or multiverses onto. They'll have
Actual
easy
stakes.
way
That's the
outs. Yeah.
problem with the MCU is actual stakes. Infinity
Especially at
War.
their end game. Especially at their end game. Now we're
Infinity
seeing.
War was the peak MCU because that was the one that actually introduced stakes to the MCU, and now Endgame kind of undid those stakes and consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And
See,
that's why
I
Infinity
feel.
War is going to be the best of them all. I think it's just my personal favorite. Sorry,
Okay,
just nerd
no,
moment.
hey, yeah, no, you have your favorites. There's nothing wrong with that. It's interesting what people's favorites are, and that's good that people had their one that they were a fan of. And for me, I'll always have my time where I appreciated phases 1, 2, and 3, with the one phase 4 exception, No Way Home. And you know what? That's fine, man. I had a great 10,
Oh,
11, 12 years under the sun of all this stuff.
yeah, it's time for something new.
I can accept it, and I don't need this coming. That's the thing. These companies, they make you so dependent on it. Like they almost make you, even if you don't realize it, they make it an addiction. They make you realize, hey, you can't live without this because we made you invest in that, and now because we're so invested, it makes it harder to let go because we spent years of our lives investing. That's what makes it harder for others to let go. And trust me, at one point in time, I was no exception to that rule myself. I was very guilty of it. Like I had a hard time letting go of DC Comics for a long time. But then once after Death Metal finished, I'm like, okay, enough's enough. Like, I gotta stop giving these guys any more chances. Like, this is enough. And you know what? I've accepted it, and I've moved on, man. Like, once again, there's many DC books I can go back and reread that I own, and I can find old comics, or I can look up collected editions of things that I don't own, and I can go that route. This is
Yeah, I
still a
guess.
golden age of stuff that we've never read.
Yeah, there's definitely always plenty of stuff to read. And my personal, like, one of the series that really like got me like in like high school and stuff was the Naruto series.
Yes.
Yeah, I named this show, like, is this show's name is a Naruto reference. Talk no Jutsu Live. It's a in joke about how Naruto can turn the bad guys like good sometimes with a mopey speech.
Mm-hmm.
It became a cliche towards the end. They call it
Mm-hmm.
Talk no Jutsu instead of like Boku no Shin no Jutsu, which is like the Japanese version for Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Mm-hmm.
So Talk no Jutsu. So I called We're Talking. Yeah. So anyway, this is some fan art I pulled out of Naruto fighting Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I guess, like, so long as it's not like Endgame Naruto, I think could be an interesting matchup.
It's okay. Obviously, I know that's blah, 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 blah. Yeah, manga is something I'd like to one day, once again, sometime between now and my death, look up and find something that I bought. God, I bought One Punch Man. I bought the first two books of that, and I did enjoy it. But unfortunately, I've never had a chance to read anything since. And then I bought, what movie did I buy? Oh, I had Ghost. Was it Ghost in the Shell? Or my buddy Brandon, the anime guy, he gave me
Yeah,
Ghost
the
in the
'90s
Shell.
version, right?
He gave me that, and that was good. And sadly, though, I've not had a chance to catch anything since. Yeah, '90s version. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
the
know.
'90s, not the
They're
movie version.
constantly rebooting and doing like Ghost in the Shell spin-offs. It's a very popular series. I've only seen the '90s movie.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely manga is good. Like definitely if you ever give Naruto a shot, I definitely suggest reading it rather than watching it because the it's split up into two animes and they're all both padded with extra stuff that just drag the whole thing out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tellium says Akira is an amazing manga. I saw the movie version. Like, that's one of the most highly. Like, have you seen Akira?
I have not. I'm aware of a lot of these. I'm aware of a lot of these IPs and their existence, but I'd say around 97, 98% I have of them I have not seen. One day I would like to watch some of these, and hopefully that day will be sooner, much rather than later.
Um, oh, this one?
What, the poster?
Or no, you said what you said you were.
Oh no, most of them I have not seen, and one day I'd like to be in a position where I could see more of them because there's like what 98% of them I have never seen,
Yeah,
maybe even 99, and I'd like to be in a position one day in my life where I can watch some of these. And
yeah. It just like if you're looking for heroes and stuff, you'll find them in manga and anime. They have some really great stuff. Naruto for me is really a good one because it's an underdog story. Like normally, like, the protagonist is like super powerful and stuff, and in this one, the kid starts out as a like reject that just happens to have a demon inside him that he
mm-hmm,
didn't even know about,
mm-hmm,
and but everyone else like completely disregards him, and he has to continue to like, and then some crazy shit happens like Tellium could tell you about it. He's apparently read like the whole series like me. And apparently he's gone even beyond me. He's actually reading the spin-off that's currently going right now about his son Boruto.
mm-hmm, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not like, I've heard some spoilers about Boruto. Not crazy about it. I think I'll just stick with Naruto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you what? No, as long as you got your thing that you're like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that, man.
yeah.
Not
The
everyone's gonna
canon
like
stops.
everything.
Wait, the canon stops here. The
No,
sto-
not everyone's gonna like everything, and that's fine. And this is something that a lot of the corporate IPs have refused to ever concede to. They want to think that everything is for everyone, but that's really not true. And that's for anything in the world. It doesn't even have to be a big IP. Like certain things are going to always be for certain demographics, and that's fine. Now, if someone outside of that demographic happens to like it by chance, hey, that's great. But
oh,
everyone's not going to like everything, and that's fine.
yeah, I happen to know. I know what you're talking about. The everything is for everyone. I know, like it's. I mean, like the idea is good, like broadening demographics once you've locked a certain one. But then, like the thing is, if you make it too wide appeal, it loses the thing that drew in that locked in audience in the
Yes.
first place, and
Yep.
that's what they don't understand.
No. Well, I mean, I think they do to just a degree. I think they do
But
to a degree. The thing is, they want to replace that crowd of like the geeks and the nerds and the fandoms, and they want to have the general audience, and they're
well, the
assuming.
ideal the hardcore ideologues do. I'm sure some of the more wishy-washy people, they just want more profits.
Oh,
And they think that's if like, making one little change will bring X amount of people, it can. And the people that'll complain, oh, they're just like annoying people on YouTube. We could ignore that.
yeah, no, it's I hear you, and I'd say I even agree. No, they want to they are assuming that the crowd that can comprise of like all the fandom type of people who are very dedicated type, whether it's for Marvel, DC, or for manga, or for Star Wars, Star Trek. They're assuming that mindset, that dedication is going to translate with normies, and they don't. They're what they don't realize is that normies don't have that same type of dedication. They're in it
Otherwise,
for
they'd
the
be us.
yeah. Otherwise, they'd be us. They're assuming that's good. They're hoping that like the wokies and the normies that they're going to replace us. That they're thinking, okay, if we replace them, even if we make less money, that's fine because right now the message is priority, and if the normies are consuming it and they're buying in, they're fine with that, man. They have no issues with getting rid of people like us. That's pretty much what they want. They ain't gonna admit it. Most of them aren't gonna admit that they're trying to get rid of us, but that's ultimately what they want.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely what like Disney Star Wars wants. I agree there. Other brands, I'm not. I'm a little bit more skeptical. I don't think it's as unified a movement as you think it is, Nick. I
Mm-hmm.
do think it is pervasive, and you're right. It's in the education. It's in everything. And uh, you know, honestly, like, have you seen the new Sonic movies?
Yeah, I did. And once again, every now and then an exception comes out. I actually enjoyed them. And I will credit Paramount for doing those movies and making them about what the fans actually wanted.
I mean,
And
they're
then
bringing my like,
Shadow,
yeah,
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 no, it was a
uh,
great after credit scene. I love those
yeah.
old school games. They were great games. No,
Oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And
hmm
one of my other big videos is I did this pitch on why I think Bale should play Shadow.
I think I remember seeing that video. I think I remember seeing that, and that's an interesting pitch. So hey, it could happen, man. I mean, I won't say that it can't, but
I
as
mean, I really
long
like it. I know he's a bit pricey, and I know like Keanu could probably do it for much less because Keanu's just so chill and
yeah.
stuff. Now, other people have suggested like I don't want Robert Pattinson to be Shadow. I don't want it's I'd be fine with either Bale or Reeves, but
hmm
definitely get someone with a deep voice, but not like so gruff. Like I don't want him doing his Batman voice for Shadow. I want him to do more of his Patrick Bateman voice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would. Yeah, it'd be nice. I just, as long as Shadow looks like Shadow and not Shadow with Christian Bale's face on his face, then I'm good with that.
Oh wow, that's frightening.
Well, that's what they did with Gore the God Butcher. Like, even though I didn't see the movie, I saw the images.
Yeah,
Gore
I
just looks
saw they
like they
they kind
put
of
Christian Bale's face on the character, and then I read an interview with Bale about it, and they said that they because he had done a movie previous to getting on Love and Thunder, and he said there was not much time for him to make an adjustment between that from previous movie to current movie, but also B, Marvel had all this time to get this right for Christian Bale. So it's hard to say who you want to blame for as far as the appearance of the character. Not that I care anymore, but if I was invested, like I feel like they would both be at fault because Bale is historically known for being this like chameleon who transforms into all these things for movies, and yet for this movie, it's just like, oh, I'll just sell for whatever they give me, which
he probably didn't
feels
really want to really do the movie. He just like they just made him a good offer.
they must have. And even if that's the case, that's still disappointing because you're giving a movie, give it your all. That
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
where I come
But I,
from.
I do hear he is the best. Like he does give a really like probably the best performance of that movie, and I have no doubt about it. He's a phenomenal actor.
Yes, he is. Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, like as far as them getting the comic accurate look right, it could just be there's just a lack of passion like on that side.
Oh, ain't that the truth? And I mean, people could say it's conspiracy all they want. No, there is no passion there. These characters are they're just there for them to push their views through the world. That's all they see them as is
But you
characters
want to
who,
know what did have passion? Spider-Man: No Way Home. There
yeah,
was
and
so
that
much
may have been the
freaking
last thing
love
we
for
got of
that
that.
movie.
Yeah,
There was
no,
so
there
much.
was.
Yeah, I no, and I attribute all that to the Sony people that worked on it. I think that it's just there's you can notice the difference between the Phase 4 movies and Spider-Man No Way Home, which actually just felt more like a sequel to the other Spider-Man movies that came before Marvel.
Well, that's what's good. Well, what No Way Home did, right? It actually, obviously, like it was. Yes, it was the next step in the MCU, but it did feel like a proper sequel to Far From Home because this is the issue. This is what hurt Doctor Strange's movie. It doesn't feel completely like a Doctor Strange sequel. It just feels like a sequel to everything else around the MCU rather than Doctor Strange's movie.
I
And
got you. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
this is something that hurts, and especially this is not a character you want to do it to. Not that you should do it to any of the characters, but I think worst of all, they picked the worst character to do it to because people love Doctor Strange, especially in Infinity War. A lot more people became aware of him and fell in love with him because of how awesome he was in
Oh yeah,
Infinity
I
War.
know.
And you saw how powerful he truly was and how incredible he was. And people were obviously, you had a lot of eyes paying attention to him because of that. And of course, his appearance in No Way Home. So all eyes were on Doctor Strange. And then they, once again, because this wasn't anything but a sequel to the first Strange one. It was a sequel to No Way Home a little bit. It was a sequel to WandaVision. It was a sequel to everything that happened in Endgame. It was a sequel to everything else but the first Doctor Strange movie. Like you can literally watch this movie and skip the first Doctor Strange completely. Like in some ways, that's not a bad thing. But in terms of the whole continuity, I feel like it definitely hurts it. It makes it feel like
I yeah,
it
definitely
doesn't. Once again, it doesn't matter.
making WandaVision required viewing is definitely like was a bad idea. Like I've watched very few of the Disney Plus Marvel shows because I got rid of my Disney Plus after the whole Gina thing.
Good
And
man.
yeah,
Good man.
yeah. But then I did watch like I did finish up WandaVision because I actually like do have someone who does have Disney Plus. I mean, I liked the earlier episodes. I do see what people mean about the final, but I actually think the final is even worse when you add Multiverse of Madness because Wanda, all that like stuff where she realized, yeah, what I did was wrong.
Uh
She,
huh.
she's a villain again. next scene.
Well,
So what
yeah,
the
they
fuck
did
is
a
that?
360. They did a 360 on her character. They started her as a villain, made her a hero within Age of Ultron, and then WandaVision happened. And I, like many others, had huge issues with the ending. And then they took that ending and then made it worse for a character. So yeah, we brought her back to square one, right where she starts. So basically, any character progression she has had in the MCU is now officially a waste. And this is what I mean when I say that these stories don't matter anymore. They think that everything is about their feelings or the message, as they like to say. And there's no character growth anymore. And if they get growth, it'll last for a moment in time, and they'll just get undone quickly. And I'll be fair. Obviously, there have been times with the books that have done that too. But now it's just like, man, we really need something fast to
Yeah,
come out swinging and deliver us
yeah.
something that's gonna be
I
fun. And
honestly hated the character assassination of Wanda because like I do think she had I mean she also had
they
some
made
great moments in the Endgame Infinity War
yes, she did.
arc, and she honestly was becoming one of my favorite characters, and even yeah, it just doesn't work. Like I mean, like we knew she was powerful already. Like
Mhm.
amping that up like really didn't like do anything. Like it didn't really make the character feel more powerful as a person. I mean, it
Mhm.
just made you feel sad that like this is what she's become.
Yeah, it is sad. She was a great character, and she was a character that people did latch on to. And once again, it just feels like her character arc is a complete waste. It's just like there's no reason to be invested in her anymore. And it sucks because as much as they love to try to push Captain Marvel and everyone, and people are not embracing it, they like Wanda Maximoff, they like Natasha Romanoff, and they put both of those characters to absolute waste. And you know what? They're gonna look one day like these studios are gonna be hurting for money so bad they're gonna wipe the slate clean and they're gonna try to win all these people back that they lost, and the damage is gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late. Maybe they can win over the next generation, maybe, but as far as everyone else that they try to replace us with, gone. It's gone because people like you, obviously, you've moved on to manga and you're really invested and you seem fairly knowledgeable on it. And then you got people who are obviously look at the CG stuff, and hopefully with Rippaverse coming out, it'll get the CGers to be like, okay, we need to step up our game and put stuff out more frequently. So that way, when frequency can become more common in comic books, then they can compete with the big two. And I do feel like we'll get to that point. I do feel like we
Yeah,
will. And when that happens, that's when they're going to actually become a legitimate threat. And that's when Marvel and DC Comics are going to be left out to dust. Now, I don't will the companies in general be dead? I don't think so. But as far as the comic book aspects, they're going to be gone. The comic aspects of it will be gone because I don't see Marvel DC as a company dying anytime soon. They'll kill off the comics divisions of their company, but that's where I think that's where it ends, at least as far as the next 10 years goes.
now have you seen Stranger Things 4?
Not yet. I have such a busy life. I barely have had time. I wanted to. I've been told to watch it. I've been told that I in particular would love it. So unfortunately, I can't really talk much about
uh,
it.
Everything, I mean, maybe like I don't know. I'm hoping all the hype surrounding it like doesn't ruin the experience, but I really was blown away like with the entire like thing. It really does like bring the show back, and it took the show into a much darker place than I ever thought it would ever go. And he is the best new character. This guy, he runs this
Yeah,
D&D club, and
I've heard about this guy.
yeah, he has yeah. It's hard when you have like the cast like this big that like for like them to add another new character that you end up liking. So like I do think like they're gonna start killing people off like when it turns back for 5. Like they're gonna. I do feel like, you know, if they keep up with this tone, like, no one is really safe. I hope that's not too much of a spoiler, but that's just my opinion.
No, I think that's. I mean, I think eventually you do got to get to a point where someone has to go. I mean, I still have yet to watch the
Oh yeah,
show,
well, I won't say
but
anything. I
that's fine.
won't say. I
But
Yeah,
you do definitely have to have a few falls in there, and I'm sure it will happen when it does. Because I think, I mean, as far as the rumors that go around, I mean, maybe you know more than I do, but I think apparently season 5 is supposed to be the last one.
it is the last. Yeah, they announced that it is going to be the last one. I mean, they've like this season 4 ends with a big setup for season 5.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, it's going to be interesting. Honestly, I love that final shot. It was that was really cool. We'll go back. Back to something else. So we've
Oh
got
no, you're
9 minutes.
good,
We've got 8 minutes left. We talk about how about Arcane? Have you seen Arcane?
I watched the first 2 episodes of it. I liked it. I just sadly have not gotten around to it since.
Yeah. Oh well. Episode 3 is where like things really get it. So definitely like watch episode 3 when you can.
Oh,
Oh, let's see.
yeah,
Talk about respect to the original prop. Oh yeah. Oh, Cobra Kai hasn't been too bad. Talk about respect. Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of these like adaptations and reboots, when they actually respect their source material, like Sonic did, and not just respected its source material, but like it made that source material work within its own continuity, like
mm-hmm,
Sonic in our world.
mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think Arcane, like I've looked into League of Legends, it definitely respects its source material while adding its own thing. Cobra Kai. I watched The Karate Kid
Of
so long
course.
ago as a kid. I barely remember the movie, but I do have enjoyed what I watched of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, no, Cobra Kai's been good. Luckily, I obviously I did actually get around to season 3, even though I was a few weeks late. I did
Yeah, I'm
get
still on
around to
season
it.
2. I have to get back to that one.
So what was this? And hold on. Sorry, it was season 4 that came out a few months
Oh,
ago.
four,
Sorry,
season 4.
season
Yeah.
4. I did get around to it, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm a big fan of the Karate Kid movies as well, even the sequels. So I was really surprisingly pleased with Cobra Kai, and I will hopefully get lucky and try to watch season 5 right away when it comes on. I'm hoping, I don't want to say that I will, and then it doesn't, but I really hope I can watch it right away because I am very, very invested in that show.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just
Okay.
stretching.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Everyone needs a good
do you want
stretch.
to let's see, I guess like, I'm just sorry. I'm just kind of running out of things
Oh,
to
you're
talk
good,
about.
man. You're good. It's all good, man. I mean, in our sphere, there's so much to talk
Oh
about,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. The world of fiction is vast and infinite.
Yes, yes, and Talon's right. Yeah, Cobra Kai originally started as a YouTube original. That's when on season 1 and 2 it was
Yeah.
considered a YouTube show. I think it was like YouTube Red or something like that. And
That
then
didn't last long.
season 3 and 4 have been, well, Netflix originals since then. And no, great. Obviously, it's
Oh,
a great show that has surprisingly been great, and mostly faithful to what came before, with the original movies. And I hope that for the future that's how it stays, because
yeah.
I would like to, not have another IP ruined. Because if it does, like, I'm not joking when I say I'm gonna jump off very quickly. I'm so tired of getting burnt on things, and I'm not gonna say, okay,
Oh,
this
yeah,
property
trust.
decided to go bad, and now I gotta stick around with them and hope for them to get better, only for them to burn me. I've stuck around, like, Gina Carano is the final nail in the coffin for me with Star
Oh
Wars.
yeah, definitely me too. I'm Though I did check Boba Fett to see if things, and then after that show sucked, it was like nowhere near the quality of the first two seasons of Mandalorian. Hell, I mean, it wasn't even as good as the few episodes I saw of the Bad Batch. Boba Fett was just the epitome of cheap and awful, and they did a major disservice to Boba as a character, and almost like they intentionally sabotaged him to make the Mandalorian look better.
Yes, absolutely. You got to tear apart the old character to prop up the Disney character. I mean, that was also done with Obi-Wan Kenobi, is done with Luke Skywalker, so they could prop up Rey. I hear it was done with Obi-Wan Kenobi, so they can prop up that Reva character, which I am not
Yeah,
saying that garbage at all. But it seems like there's clearly a theme going on. There's clearly a theme going on where they're ripping apart all these characters, and it seems like the only old character that's safe from it is Princess Leia's character, where it seems like they want to make her the new chosen one instead of, sorry,
but they
not
did. Thing
chosen
is,
one,
they
but
don't have to do that. They didn't have to
that's what they
do that to
want to.
prop. They didn't have to do
They
that to
did it.
prop up those new characters.
You're right,
I'm
they
just
didn't,
saying.
but that's
I
what they
know they
wanted.
did, but they didn't have to do that. And it's just because you're right. Kathleen Kennedy's insane, and she only cares about her narrow worldview, and that's what she loaded Lucasfilm with. I get it, and their view of Leia, like as if she was never like the most badass space princess ever before.
She always was.
Like the Skywalker women have always been kick ass. Like you didn't need to like have her like you don't need to put a contest between her and Luke. Luke has his own story. Leia has hers.
They want Leia's story to probably be Luke's. I will not be surprised that if they're thinking about rebooting the original trilogy, and um
A
they'll make
CGI Leia because they said they wouldn't recast anymore. It'll
oh
just be
yeah,
a complete CGI Leia, the
that
entire thing.
it'll be something like that. It'll be Luke asking for Leia with the whole "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, help me." It'll be Luke doing that message instead of Leia. Like they will go that far if they want to, they will. Don't put it past them. I just tell people like you gotta not just leave it to the critical drinker to review it. Leave it to him to review it. But that's all we need. It's
Yeah,
we
I'm
gotta
not.
we gotta like let this shit die already. Like they're not gonna change. They're like, and it's the way this company's run. It's pretty much dominantly run that way, top to bottom. Like
Yeah, absolutely. Every branch. I mean, like, at least like with Paramount and Netflix and like some other things, they'll occasionally do something right, even if it's just on accident. But Disney, like can't. They're just too invested in it. They're too. Yeah, and like I understand. Like I'm not a Trekkie personally,
but you
but I
understand
know you
where they
guys
come
got
from.
really burnt out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Trekkie either, but I have many friends who are, and I understand where their perspective comes from with the whole Star Trek thing. Like I've talked to many Trekkies, and there definitely seems to be a common theme that they're saying like with the modern Trek, they're saying it's not Star Trek. Like they took the concept of Star Trek and they neutered it, is what I'm hearing a lot of. They neutered it, and it's not what Star Trek was known for. It's now just basically a show for normies, whereas Star Trek used to be a very niche sci-fi show.
Yeah,
They
and that's
definitely
kind of
done the
why.
whole they want to make it for everybody, which Star Trek was never for everybody. It was always for a niche crowd.
Yeah, I like Stargate. You know,
Yeah, I heard
yeah,
about Stargate.
yeah, I've been getting into it. I got into it. I've been watching it with my father. Like we started during COVID, and then like it kept switching streaming services. It's currently on Netflix right now, and on season 4 out of like 11.
Uh huh.
It's
Uh huh.
and that it's been pretty fun. It's pretty campy.
Nice.
Yeah, like if you haven't seen it, you should check it out, especially like if you want like something old, something classic.
I'm hoping one day I could get to that. My whole gist is like when as far as like watching movies or TV, like I get like a few hours in the week to do that, and that's a week, not even a day. It's a week. So it's like if I get lucky, I can. But no, I do want to watch Stargate. I do. I still want to watch. I still want to go back sometime between now and when I'm 100. Hope that I can get to all the old Trek and see what all the Trekkies were all into. I would like to get to it. Same with all the
Yeah, there's
mangas that I'm
definitely a
missing.
lot. I
I've
understand it can be
I'm
overwhelming.
well, it can be, but I'm not particularly overwhelmed on it personally. It's just I want to have time for it because I have such a busy life. Like I have a household I have with my family. I'm a family man. A, B, I have this YouTube thing and I do. C, there's always work to be done around the house, and then D, I'm also like a big reader. I'm a big mover. So the TV is kind of like lately it's not something I've had a lot to get around to, but one day I'm going to, and it's going to be glorious. And I will have watched more than one manga property. I'll maybe have watched one full Star Trek season, one full Stargate season. One day, who knows? I'm hoping
Oh,
maybe I'll even get to watching Stranger Things before the year ends.
yeah. Well, good luck with that,
Thank
Nick.
you, sir. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And I do thank you for having me on here. It's nice
Oh, you're
to chat with
absolutely
you.
welcome. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed our time together. This was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. So
Oh,
thank you for being my third guest.
oh, my pleasure, dude. It's all good, man. All right, just keep at it. You're doing great with the videos. You have an idea of what you are doing with the videos. Just keep at it, and eventually, in time, dude, like before you know it, the numbers start growing. And some people have a quicker journey, some people have a longer journey, but just have fun with it and let it be an organic process, and the rest will be smooth sailing.
I will. Have a good night, Nick.
Hi, you too, sir. Thank you very much for your time. And Tahalam, you take care as well. And yes, Tahalam does comic book reviews on his channel too and manga stuff. So
Oh yeah, I'll
he's
definitely check
correct.
that. I'll check that out right away.
Yes. Thank you, Tahalam, for hanging out with us. But yeah, you have a good night, sir. Okay. I'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon.
Good night.
All right. Good night.